Through the vision of two 5th rank Void Assassin clan soldier figurines, Song Kai quickly got his answer. As he had anticipated, the targets of these torch warships were indeed this fragment belt. The 3 warships being pursued seemed to want to use this fragment belt to buy some time, possibly because they had already sent out a distress signal. The pursuing fleet was also aware of this, and their attack was particularly fierce. Under the barrage of countless gunfire, even the soldier figurines that had entered the void gap could sense the faint distortion of space. After a brief glance, Song Kai no longer continued to pay attention and refocused his mind into the space law crystal in his hands. Several hours later, just as the Purple River translocation device had completed its buffer, Song Kai timely retracted his focus and once again turned his attention to the 2 brainwave imprints. After carefully surveying his surroundings and noticing that he could no longer sense the traces of those dozen or so warships, he exited the ruins market, summoned the Kang Chong, and sped away from the fragment belt, ready to find a suitable space to initiate a new round of spatial jump. The original chosen docking point was on the outskirts of the fragment belt, so it didn't take long for Kang Chong to break out of the belt. However, just as he was about to initiate the spatial jump, 2 intense spatial fluctuations came from the side, and shortly after, 2 cruisers, each a kilometer long, burst out from the void. Song Kai rubbed the center of his brow, feeling like his luck was really off today. These 2 cruisers were clearly not any of the 3 that were being pursued earlier. If he wasn't mistaken, they were most likely reinforcements summoned by the 3 warships that had been chased. If that was indeed the case, then it would be difficult for him to clear the misunderstanding. As expected, upon detecting the Kang Chong, the 2 cruisers that had jumped in immediately sent a communication request. Before connecting, Song Kai put on a piece of biomimetic skin mask. This mask was an accessory that came with the biomimetic skin battle armor originally crafted from the purple crystal skin of queen bugs. It didn't serve much function other than making one's face indistinguishable from an ordinary person's, preventing any abnormalities from being seen. It came in handy at this moment. A cruiser-class torch warship was not something ordinary forces could possess, let alone 3 of them at once. It didn't take much to realize the power behind these 2 cruisers was extraordinary. Therefore, Song Kai preferred not to reveal his true face. His current identity as 7th sequence of the Song family was no secret among the upper echelons of the principality. Revealing his true identity might spare him the current trouble, but if the forces behind the other party were to seek him out afterward, they would not come in ordinary numbers but with enough power to pose a lethal threat to the Song family sequence. Of course, that possibility was not great. There were not many forces in the Chengxing Principality brave enough to confront the wrath of the Song family. Upon connecting the communication, 2 virtual projections quickly appeared within Song Chi's vision. "Sir, please identify yourself. Given the recent events in this fragment belt, you must be aware. If you cannot provide a satisfactory explanation to the Godspeed Li clan today, we cannot let you leave." Song Kai was somewhat surprised, not at the forceful tone of the other party but because the attitude was unexpectedly good, so much so that he thought he might have misheard. What happened to using their power to bully others, not bothering with right or wrong, and just attacking outright? Upon hearing the other party's words, aside from his initial surprise, Song Kai instinctively thought that they were likely following the approach of courtesy before force. Eventually, he focused on a key term in the previous conversation. Godspeed Li clan. He had some understanding of this force, though not much, as they were not considered a giant power in the principality. At his command, the semi-automatic shipboard AI quickly listed all available information regarding the Godspeed Li clan recently downloaded from the family archives. The Godspeed Li clan of the Golden Wind Star Domain's floating land of Godspeed, established 700 years ago with the support of the Golden Horn Lu clan, produced its first 4th rank torch captain 600 years ago. As of Chengxing calendar 5200, there are 3 4th rank torch captains in the clan. Note: this clan has an upright family heritage, and has been thriving substantially for the past 200 years. After reading these details, Song Qi's mind was clear. He knew the other party had not been putting on an act. Having confirmed this, he naturally adjusted his attitude accordingly. Since the other party was polite, he was not someone unreasonable. About a few hours ago, there were 13. He simply recounted what he had witnessed without any concealment. As to whether the other side believed him or not, that was not for him to decide. The two Godwind Li family cruiser captains exchanged looks, hesitated for a moment, and then spoke. After all, your word alone isn't solid proof. Please reveal your identity. Song Kai thought for a second, and the next moment, a contemplation diagram of the Dragon Whale Supreme, mythical mech from the depths of his mind was activated. Following that, around the Kang Chong's hull, a spectral projection of a phantom dragon whale swiftly coalesced from spectral energy. Ow! With a chant, the dragon whale announced its identity. Song Qi's reasoning was straightforward. He had already concealed his face, and the Song family was vast in numbers, with nearly 1,000 third-rank torch captains. This scope was broad enough to avoid identity exposure and to dispense with the current trouble. Why not take this easy way out? Indeed, upon seeing the phantom dragon whale, the expressions of the two Godwind Li family cruiser captains changed instantly, and their tones quickly softened. So it's an elder from the Dingai Song family. We are truly sorry, it was our mistake to be abrupt. Additionally, we're deeply grateful for the information you've provided, brother. Thank you. As the conversation took an abrupt turn, Song Kai, reflecting on the influence the Dingai Song family held across the entire Chengxing Principality, prepared to engage the engines, not intending to linger. Just as he was about to activate the Purple River translocation device, the two Godwind Li family cruiser captains, after a lengthy discussion, once again initiated contact and interrupted his subsequent actions. We have a rather presumptuous request, and we wonder if you would be interested. Song Kai frowned slightly and cast an inquiring look, then listened as they continued. The three warships that were pursued earlier belonged to our Li clan, and the pursuers were the Howl family clan's fleet. They were chasing our Li clan members because they recently discovered a lost Starry Sea secret realm. If you are interested, we earnestly invite you to join us in exploring that lost secret realm. Song Qi's eyes flickered, and he did not proceed with the spatial jump. Instead, with a hint of curiosity, he said, "Do you know what rank the lost secret realm is, and what kind of resources are produced there?" Song Kai was indeed very interested in the lost secret realm. As for why the other party invited him, he had a rough guess. The Howl family clan they mentioned was a clan that had risen 1,000 years ago, said to be supported by other powers of the principality, yet no one had provided a concrete answer over the millennium. The Howl family clan also resided on the same 4th-rank floating land within the wind float of the Li clan, with both clans occupying this level 4 life-type floating land, leading to ongoing conflict. However, the Howl family clan had deeper roots, with more than 5 visible 4th-rank torch captains, and in the conflicts, the Li clan had always been at a distinct disadvantage. The direct invitation to him now was likely an attempt to leverage the name of the Dingai Song family, to make the Howl family clan hesitate. About this, if there were indeed valuable resources within the lost secret realm, Song Kai really did not care. Upon his inquiry, the two members of the Li clan responded truthfully. According to the message sent back by our clan members earlier, that should be a top-rank Starry Sea secret realm, and the resource inside is a law tree. A law tree? Song Qi's eyes shone with excitement. This was an extremely rare resource, more valuable than the Moyue tree, the dragon blood tree, and the god-tempering fruit tree. Law fruit, as the name suggests, is a type of exotic spirit fruit resource related to the laws of the Starry Sea, capable of specifically enhancing one's comprehension of corresponding Starry Sea laws. It is an extremely rare and highly sought-after special resource. Song Qi's current comprehension of spatial laws was a mere 0.17%, so if he could obtain one or even several spatial attribute law fruits, it would directly elevate his comprehension of the laws significantly. What excited him even more was another aspect. Let's not forget that the Kang Chong had Shikong's number 004 breeding secret realm as a component onboard. Combined with that immortal domain spirit soil, if he could transplant a few spatial law trees into the breeding secret realm, then under the Secret Realm Accelerator feature, he would be able to continuously obtain resources like law fruits in the future. Thinking this, Song Kai had already made up his mind, but he didn't show it immediately. Instead, he continued to inquire. If it is a top-rank Starry Sea secret realm, that means it contains either the time or space law, correct? Do you know which it is? This was the question he was most concerned about at the moment. If it contained the time law, then the secret realm would most likely have special resources related to time. Conversely, it would be space-related resources. And since the special resources in this lost secret realm were law trees and law fruits, they naturally corresponded to time attribute, law fruits, and spatial attribute, law fruits. Time, law fruits, are certainly more precious, but they don't match him. Spatial, law fruits, are much more important to Song Kai. Under his questioning, the two Li clan cruiser captains did not hide anything. It's the spatial attribute. There are 3 spatial law trees in that lost secret realm, which can produce spatial law fruits. They revealed this so directly because they wanted to further express their sincerity and to increase the likelihood that Song Kai would agree. The Dingai Song family's spatial secret techniques had long been renowned throughout the Chengxing Principality, with data showing that nearly 6 out of 10 torch ship captains who pursued the path of spatial laws in the Principality belonged to the Song family. Thus, if Song Kai was on the path of spatial laws, he would surely be unable to resist the temptation of the spatial law fruit. Indeed, they had gambled correctly. After confirming the information about the spatial law tree, Song Kai quickly nodded his agreement. He was indeed envious of the law fruit resource, and he was also confident in his own strength. Given the current enhancement level of the various components on the Kang Chong, even if there were some schemes in the so-called lost secret realm, even if the 4th-ranked contender captains from the Li clan and Howell family clan took action, he was confident that he could at least make a full retreat, if not match them in strength. That spatial anchor point in the Zutian Ruins market was still set up on the Dragonspine continent of his family. He could return to the Dragonspine continent at any time through the market as an intermediary if he wished. However, agreement aside, Song Kai still needed to learn more about the relevant information. Could the two of you offer more details about this lost secret realm? Since it was a lost secret realm, it likely had not been managed by intelligent life from the outside world for a long time, and as a result, it might have given rise to many unpredictable dangers. Listening to the explanations of the two from the Li clan, the 3 cruisers plunged into the fragment belt ahead. Soon after, they located the wreckage of 3 sunken warships in the central region of the fragment belt. There was a somewhat solemn atmosphere in the group chat, with the 2 members of the Li clan gritting their teeth and with undeniable anger in their eyes. About this, apart from reflecting on the relentless feud between the 2 families, Song Kai primarily focused on the information previously revealed by the 2 men. According to what they said, the lost secret realm had been isolated from the outside world for over 10,000 years, and since it was originally a top-rank Starry Sea secret realm of no low rank, traces of 4th-rank level secret realm creatures had appeared within the long stretch of 10,000 years, and the existence of even 5th-rank secret realm creatures couldn't be ruled out. As for the entrance to that secret realm, it was located in the Golden Wind Void Belt, hundreds of light years away from the Wangyan Star region. After a brief stay, the 3 cruisers set out for the entrance to the lost secret realm. The Golden Wind Void Belt was the only mini-void belt within the Golden Wind Star domain. It was not extensive, stretching over only 200 light years, and the entrance to the lost secret realm was precisely located within this void belt. Perhaps this was why the entrance had remained undiscovered by torch ship captains for thousands of years, otherwise, it would likely have been found by passing torch warships long ago. When the 3 cruisers arrived, this secret realm entrance located in the center of the void belt had already gathered dozens of torch warships. These torch warships were divided into two factions. One was led by the Howl family clan's fourth-rank contending warship, the Platinum Oak ship, and the other was headed by the Divine Wind contending warship, the Divine Wind Changming ship, from the Li clan. The Howl family clan had the majority of warships on their side, with over 20 escort ships and cruisers combined, whereas the Li clan side had only 15 or 16. However, with the addition of Song Kai and the other two cruisers, the numbers were roughly equal. In the Li clan warships communication group, the fourth-rank contending warship captain took the initiative to ask, "What's the deal with that cruiser to your two sides?" After the two who had brought Song Kai over explained the situation in detail, the contending warship captain pondered for a moment, then said, "You've done well. Now that the family head is in the alien star domain and won't be able to return in the short term, this has made the top combat power of the Li clan even weaker. A third-rank clansman from the Dingai Song family should give the Howl family clan quite a few reservations." While speaking, the contending warship captain also established communication with the Kongchong, and after instructing Song Kai in a gentle, elder-like tone, the Howl family clan also quickly made a move. Neither party wished to continue waiting. Although only the two families were aware of this lost secret realm for now, over time, there was the possibility of it becoming known to others. Naturally, it was best to explore as soon as possible. After consulting with the other contending warship captain, a total of 41 torch warships rushed into the entrance of the secret realm. In the silent darkness of space, two contending warships were suspended over a floating land of no small diameter. Upon their commands, the escort ships and cruisers belonging to both families dispersed, descending towards the floating land below. The rules agreed upon by the two fourth-rank torch ship captains were simple. They would oversee the entire floating land from their contending warships and only intervene to rescue members of their own families in the event of encountering fourth-rank or higher secret realm creatures. The other clansmen below would conduct their own exploration of the secret realm's floating land. Above the secret realm's floating land's vault of heaven, the Kongchong swiftly skimmed along the low altitude of the floating land. While not particularly large, with a diameter of several 100,000 kilometers, the possibility of encountering fourth-rank, or even higher-ranked secret realm creatures, forced Song Kai to be extremely vigilant. Throughout his journey, Song Kai discovered several quite good resources, but the Kongchong did not stop for them. His primary target was the law tree and law fruits, and no other resource could pique his interest much. In the Kongchong main control room, Song Kai sighed softly. At this moment, he missed the magic energy detection feature of the Silver 3 generation Superwave magical energy detection radar component. If he had that feature, he wouldn't be so cluelessly wandering. Minutes later, a booming sound from the distance startled the Kongchong, and unusually, Song Kai maneuvered the Kongchong straight towards the direction of the commotion. Interest is the source of conflict, and Song Kai firmly didn't believe that conflicts would arise for no reason. If this were the outside world, that could be understandable, but they were in a top-rank Starry Sea secret realm that had gone unexplored for over 10,000 years. Everyone wanted to spend more time collecting the precious resources within the secret realm, and only a fool would deliberately seek conflict without good reason. Minutes later, by the time the Kongchong arrived at the battlefield, the two cruisers were still in a standoff. The root cause of their battle was a law tree about several tens of meters tall. This was a light attribute law tree, its trunk surface emitting a very dazzling light. Upon seeing a new cruiser arrive, the reactions of the two confronting warships were completely different. The Li clan's ship proactively sent a communication request to the Kongchong, while the Howl family clan's cruiser instinctively distanced itself. On the side, the Li clan's cruiser wanted to beckon Song Kai to help and secure their victory over the opponent. Naturally, Song Kai did not respond, his gaze fixed upon the law tree below. Although he had accepted the invitation from the Li clan, it didn't mean that he had to harbor deep hatred against the Howl family clan. 3 light attribute law fruits are yours, and I'll take this law tree, how about that? Song Kai spoke first. A law tree yields a maximum of 3 law fruits per cycle, meaning Song Kai didn't want a single law fruit, just the law tree itself. Having not comprehended the law of light, taking these law fruits wouldn't be very useful to him, so it was better to take the law tree itself. As for the Li clan's cruiser captain, Song Qi's request simply couldn't have been more satisfactory to him. Each cycle of a law tree's fruiting and its maturation was extremely prolonged, on the order of 10,000 years or more. Even if he took the law tree, it was uncertain when the Li clan would be able to make it bear fruit again, and even if it did, he might not be the one to benefit. Rather than that, it was better to take the 3 actually valuable law fruits at hand. Once an agreement was reached, the other cruiser quickly departed, and Song Kai, using the immortal domain spirit soil from the cultivation secret realm, spread it beneath the law tree to improve the chances of successful transplantation. Within minutes, Song Kai had successfully transplanted the light attribute law tree into the cultivation secret realm. However, after that, Song Qi's luck wasn't very good. For over half a month, he failed to find a second law tree. But a few hours ago, he successfully rescued several Li clan escort ships from a cruiser of the Howl family clan. As a token of gratitude, a few second-rank torch ship captains of the Li family gave him a simplified resource distribution map of the secret realm. Above a dense forest on the edge of the floating land, Kongchong was slowly making its way forward. Deep in the forest below, dozens of Void Assassin clan soldier figurines were traversing the secret realm, conducting a carpet-style search. According to the resource distribution map provided by the second-rank clansman of the Li family, there was one of the 3 spatial law trees amidst this primeval forest. What's the matter? Is the distribution map inaccurate, or are the areas the Void Assassin clan soldier figurines traversing incorrect? He had been in this primeval forest for nearly 10 days, yet he had never discovered the trace of a spatial law tree, which made him start to doubt. At that moment, a Void Assassin clan soldier figurine made its way through the trees, and in the next second, a circular open area with a height of tens of thousands of meters and a diameter of tens of thousands of meters came into view. After a moment of stupor, Song Kai, who quickly came to his senses, hurriedly controlled the Void Assassin clan soldier figurine to merge into a void gap. In this open area, a tree tens of meters high, enveloping the power of cutting, the spatial law tree, was rooted in the center, and around it, there were 3 4th-rank level ape-like creatures. These black apes, sprawling on the ground, were hundreds of meters tall, and if they stood up, they would probably not be less than 3,000 meters in height. Clearly, these 3 black apes were 4th-rank level creatures of the secret realm. Indeed, the laws within the secret realm have shortages, but the Starry Sea secret realm is different from the Shattered secret realm. It can accommodate creatures of up to 4th rank and even higher, which is why these black apes of an unknown species could grow to 4th rank level. At this moment, Kongchong received 2 different communication requests one after the other. Song Kai wasn't surprised and calmly opened the 2 communications. Soon after they arrived around the spatial law tree, he was already aware of the presence of the other 2 cruisers. Both warships were equipped with special components that could conceal their presence, but they were clearly not as good as the peeping spirit eyes in quality. Detected by the red radar, they naturally could not hide. Similarly, although the void membrane component on the Kongchong had been upgraded to purple, it obviously failed to escape detection by these 2 warships. Within the group chat of the 3 cruisers, El Howl, a direct descendant of the Howl family clan, was the first to say, 3 4th-rank black apes. How about each of us draws the attention of one, and then let our enslaved creatures pluck the space law fruits? The proposal was reasonable, and the other 2 did not refuse. After some preparation, the 3 quickly started to act. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Dozens of light beam cannons pierced through the leaves of the primeval forest above, landing precisely on the sprawling black apes that were feigning sleep. This provocative act naturally ignited the fury of the 3 4th-rank black apes at once. Vast amounts of blood mysterious power radiated from their bodies, and then they surged into the sky, chasing after the three cruisers above. Seeing this, the three properly prepared warships revved their engines and began to gain altitude rapidly. At the same time, as the three fourth-rank black apes burst out of the primeval forest, several enslaved creatures emerged from the nearby forest, rushing straight for the spatial law tree. To be more precise, their target was the three space law fruits on the tree. Above the secret floating land in the vault of heaven, the three cruisers didn't choose to disperse but maintained a certain distance, ascending together. The reason for this naturally was to prevent the three fourth-rank black apes below from giving up their pursuit too soon. The speed of the three warships was just right at a suitable point, which was enough to keep the three fourth-rank black apes from being pulled too far away to stop chasing them, but not so much as to be significantly affected by the substantial blood laws emanating from around them. As for why the three black apes, beings of the fourth rank themselves and native species of this secret realm endowed with a slight blessing of the secret realm laws, were still a step slower than the three cruisers. That was actually quite simple, not to mention the Kang Chong, whose silver light energy aggregation engine component had been enhanced to the 5th rank limit. El Howell and a cruiser captain from the Li family named Li Tianze were also the absolute geniuses of their respective families. Born with purple fire, they had long since enhanced the engines of their warships to the LV-49 limit, plus with the streamlined bodies of their torch warships, it was only normal that their speed exceeded that of ordinary fourth-rank creatures that weren't adept at flying. Seconds later, seeing that several black apes were already showing intentions of turning back, Song Kai no longer hesitated. With the coordinates of several Void Assassin clan soldier figurines below as the target point, the Void Escape Orb component was immediately activated, and, in the next second, the Kang Chong, 1,300 meters long, suddenly vanished from above the vault of heaven. On the side, the other two cruiser captains were slightly startled and then quickly realized what had happened. Spatial components capable of making the flagship perform void transfers are rare, but with their backgrounds and knowledge, they were not unfamiliar with such components. Seeing a warship over a kilometer long disappear so vividly in front of their eyes, they immediately thought of these types of components. The two exchanged glances through the warship communication, and a sense of foreboding flashed in their eyes. The enslavement components on their flagships didn't possess the bridge of the mind capability for long-distance mental communication. Whether their subjugated creatures had obtained the space law fruits and whether Song Chi's sudden teleportation was to secure all three law fruits for himself, they had no idea at the moment. Deep in the forest below, as the Kang Chong suddenly appeared, the other two subjugated creatures sped up their escape, each already having obtained a space law fruit along with the Void Assassin clan soldier figurines. Actually, if Song Kai wanted, he could kill both creatures at any time and retake the two space law fruits, but he did not do so. Above the secret floating land, the two fourth-rank contender captains belonging to the Li family and Howell family clan were indifferently overseeing everything happening on the entire floating land, and he was very aware that what he was doing could not be hidden from them. If he acted too excessively, it would probably be very troublesome afterward. Even if he revealed his identity as a member of the Dingai Song family. With a thought, dozens of Void Assassin clan soldier figurines, which had been hidden in the void gaps nearby, appeared one after another. Under his command, they quickly converged below the spatial law tree and started working, wielding various digging tools. Meanwhile, the hatch of the Kang Chong opened, and the immortal domain spirit soil floated out from the warship through a traction beam, finally falling into the already dug hole beneath the spatial law tree. With the aid of this immortal domain spirit soil, the transplantation was still very smooth, and one of the three spatial law trees in this secret realm was successfully transplanted into the cultivation secret realm. In the vault of heaven above, a roar erupted one after another. The three fourth-rank black apes were no longer able to smell the spatial law tree and the law fruits, plunging them into a frenzied state. An endless amount of blood law crazily released from their bodies, making them appear as three blood-red suns spanning across the vault of heaven. Their intense oppression dominated a range of tens of thousands of miles, filling every low-ranked creature within the entire region with terror. However, formidable as this display was, to the Kang Chong with its 5th-rank silver energy shield and 5th-rank red warship armor, it was almost inconsequential, as the 4th-rank pressure could not penetrate these 2 layers of defense to reach inside the warship. This also left Song Kai within the battleship main control room completely unaffected. Apart from the Kang Chong, El Howl and Li Tianze were feeling a bit uncomfortable at this moment. Although they were also prodigies of 2 major 4th-rank families from the Divine Wind continent, their backgrounds and personal experiences were far inferior to Song Qi's. Under the full pressure of the 3 4th-rank Black Apes, merely having a purple energy shield and warship armor was not enough to completely negate it. For the 2 of them, perhaps the only good news was that Song Kai hadn't hogged all the benefits for himself. They now knew that their subjugated creatures had obtained the space law fruits. Hum hum hum. With the intense roaring of the engines and a series of warship afterimages, the Kang Chong burst out of the primeval forest foliage and quickly disappeared into the distant horizon, leaving behind several realistic warship afterimages. Song Kai had no intention of entangling with these 4th-rank Black Apes, so he directly triggered the Phantom Trace feature of the Phantom Thruster. Let El Howl and Li Tianze deal with the headache that followed. He just wanted to take the opportunity to see if he could transplant more law trees. Of course, he could no longer target the spatial law tree otherwise. Just as he was thinking, a communication request with a beeping sound interrupted his thoughts. When he saw who was requesting communication, Song Qi's eyes flickered, and a sense of foreboding surged in his heart. The one requesting communication was none other than the Zhulu warship from the Godwind Li clan, the Divine Wind Shangming. Once the communication was established, he respectfully said, "My lord." This Song Kai, who was not too familiar with the contending warship captain, slightly nodded with a warm smile still on his face. However, the words that came out made Song Kai inwardly remark that it was as expected. "Kid, let's stop here. If you transplant any more, I'm afraid the Platinum Oak ship of the Howl family won't let it go easily. Even if you invoke the Dingai Song family's name, it will be the same." In the Kongchong main control room, although Song Kai felt somewhat displeased, he nodded without much delay. After the communication was cut off once more, shades of gloom finally surfaced on his face. In fact, he had anticipated this step, he just didn't expect it to come so soon. Originally, he thought that as long as he did not touch that spatial law tree anymore, he should still be able to transplant 2 ordinary law trees, but he didn't expect the tolerance of these 2 families to be so low. Of course, he didn't doubt the other party's words either. The Platinum Oak ship of the Howl family hadn't initiated communication, most likely not because they tacitly approved of his transplanting actions. On the contrary, the Kongchong might have already been marked for heavy retaliation in their eyes. After all, in the eyes of the Howl family, the Kongchong at this moment was just a cruiser under the Godwind Li clan. Song Kai had some thoughts at the bottom of his heart. If he had known the tolerance of the 2 families was this low, he wouldn't have taken those 2 space law fruits earlier. After all, it was the last round. With this thought, his mind shifted, and his gaze turned to the Peeping Spirit Eyes component. Since this red quality radar had been loaded and enhanced to 4th rank, he had actually never used its Peeping Spirit Eyes feature. The secret realm beneath his feet had been closed for over 10,000 years, and he wanted to see if the Starry Sea oddity had been nurtured inside the secret realm. Along with the deduction of 50,000 spectral energy points and a 10-minute buffer time, a special, invisible ripple emanated from the Kongchong, rapidly spreading in all directions. The now 4th rank, Peeping Spirit Eyes, had a drawback: it could only detect Starry Sea oddities of orange level and below. Detection of higher levels was a challenge. However, at the moment, it was not too bad. With 10,000 years of isolation, if any oddities had been nurtured within the secret realm, the highest would probably be limited to orange glory. The chance of a red epic was slim. The gradual diffusion of the peeping spirit detection waves didn't bring much change to Song Chi's expression. Whether it was that the environment of the secret realm was unsuitable for the nurturing of starry sea oddities or for some other reason, the detection waves had already spread throughout most of the secret realm's floating land, but still not even a white strange object had been detected, which was utterly disappointing. A few seconds later, just as Song Kai had given up any hope, a crisp notification suddenly sounded. Looking up, a bright purple light spot was clearly displayed on the radar screen. Is this a purple relic? A purple starry sea oddity might be convertible into a shipborne component. Although it wasn't of great value to Song Kai at this stage, he still swiftly directed the Kongchong towards the specified coordinates. The radar showed that the coordinates of the purple relic were tens of thousands of kilometers away from the Kongchong, but with no more need to step-by-step search for traces of law trees, the Kongchong quickly arrived at the target location. Could it be underground? After searching carefully for a while and not finding any traces of the purple relic, Song Kai then shifted his attention to the ground below. Humming, the warship descended, and when it reached a certain height, the doors of the Kongchong opened. Following that, a furious tiger mining cart was slowly lowered to the ground by the traction beam, and then began targeted excavation work. Half an hour later, when the furious tiger mining cart had dug about a dozen meters underground, it finally succeeded in uncovering the purple relic. It was soon brought into Song Chi's hands. Strange object, geomagnetic stone. Quality: purple. Convertible, ultrasonic geomagnetic detector. Note: a geomagnetic stone that has been nurtured in a starry sea secret realm for millennia. It has a special effect. Ultrasonic geomagnetic detector LV0 quality, purple. Feature: entity detection depth doubled consumption. 300, use, spectral energy points. Effect: conducts ultrasonic prospecting of a designated 10 meters by 10 meters entity area, capable of detecting multiple types of reactions such as metals, special minerals, and life, with a current maximum exploration depth of 200 meters, 100 times 2. Duration: 10 minutes. Charge: 60s. Buffer: 72H. Up rank requirement: 7 strands of floating land origin. 0 rank. 700 spectral energy points. 7 life cores. 0 rank. Seeing the attributes of this special component, Song Kai felt a surge of joy in his heart. This ultrasonic geomagnetic detector component was capable of conducting entity prospecting, to some extent replacing the effects of the former magic energy detection feature. Although the scope of its function was not small in its limitations, as long as the enhancement level was raised, it should still be quite considerable. Additionally, its detection depth of the ground would exceed by quite a bit, which could be considered to have its own advantages. He directly equipped the component onto the warship and enhanced its level to LV30. Song Kai now had not much titanium crystal left, so he could only enhance it to this extent for now, but the component's attributes were nonetheless significantly improved. Effect: conducts ultrasonic prospecting of a designated 1000 meters by 1000 meters entity area, capable of detecting multiple types of reactions such as metals, special minerals, and life, with a current maximum exploration depth of 800 meters, 400 times 2. Duration: 45 minutes. Charge: 30s. Buffer: 36H. With satisfaction, he closed the attributes panel before his eyes. Song Kai didn't plan to stay any longer, since the 2 4th-rank torch ship captains above the Vault of Heaven had already made their stance clear. Lingering further would be useless. However, just as the Kangchong was about to make a rapid ascent, intense roaring noises came from the skies above the distant primeval forest once again. This time, it wasn't just a small skirmish. Judging by the sound of the gunfire, it seemed like multiple cruisers were engaged in a melee. Driven by curiosity and a hint of different thoughts, Song Kai turned the ship around and rushed towards the source of the gunfire. To trigger such a battle among so many cruisers, it must be either the space law fruit, or several law trees growing together. Only these two possibilities made sense. Song Chi's thought was simple. Since the two fourth-rank torch ship captains in the sky didn't allow him to continue transplanting, it shouldn't be a problem to snatch some law fruits, right? Currently, his comprehension of space law stood at a mere 0.17%, and one space law fruit was far from enough. If he could obtain several more, that would naturally be better. Even if they were law fruits of other attributes, once he reached the capital star domain, they would be great for trading with others. And even if he took a step back, selling them in the ruins market would also be viable, wouldn't it? Upon arriving at the battlefield, Song Kai realized he had been mistaken. The source of the chaos wasn't any of what he had imagined before, but rather a combination of the two. Right below the site of the melee, there were astonishingly 6 law trees, one for each of the 5 elements of metal, wood, water, fire, and earth, and in the center of them stood a spatial law tree. All 6 law trees bore fruits, but the space law fruit only had 2 remaining. Meanwhile, the law trees of the 5 elements were all filled with the full 3 fruits each. The arrival of Kang Chong caused little disturbance because there were already close to 10 cruisers gathered here, with a melee within thousands of miles above the Vault of Heaven. While pretending to charge towards a cruiser belonging to the Howl family clan, Song Kai controlled the Void Assassin clan soldier figurines, which had already slipped into the void gap ahead of time, to swiftly approach the 6 law trees below. But the result was unexpected. The 6 law trees were firmly sealed by a special spatial barrier, which, even from the void gap, could not be penetrated. Getting this answer, Song Kai understood that this spatial barrier must have been set up by either the Li clan or the Howl family clan, to prevent the other from stealthily approaching these law trees. As for the battle above, it was likely a fight deciding the final distribution of these law fruits. Song Kai swept his gaze around him with a peculiar expression, realizing that, given the current comparison of cruisers from both families, deciding the victor wouldn't be easy. Moreover, he had a doubt. Previously, just for one spatial law tree, there were 3 fourth-rank black apes guarding it. Could it really be that these 6 law trees, growing together below, had no guardian creatures from the secret realm? Or had they been dealt with in advance by these cruisers? Although he had his suspicions, Song Kai didn't let them show. He completely assumed the identity of an ordinary supporter from the Li family, trading blows with a common cruiser from the Howl family clan in a stalemate. If he wanted to, Kang Chong could certainly take care of the cruiser opposite them at any time, but that would be too conspicuous. After battling with the opponent for tens of minutes, the leaders of the 3rd rank level from the 2 families finally reached an agreement. They stopped the meaningless melee and came up with another method. To remove the spatial barrier and summon puppet soldier figurines or enslaved creatures, then compete for the law fruits below on their own, 20 law fruits in total. Whoever got them, kept them. Song Kai, counted as one of the Li family's people, summoned what was in fact every one of the Void Assassin clan soldier figurines. Once the spatial barrier was lifted, members of both the Howl family clan and the Li family issued orders to compete, and then hundreds of soldier figurines swarmed towards the 6 law trees. Among these soldier figurines, which were at most 4th rank level and many just 3rd rank, the 5th rank level Void Assassin clan soldier figurines naturally outstripped the others. Thanks to Void Flash, an instant teleportation ability, they reached the vicinity of the 6 law trees at a speed far surpassing the other figurines. Then, without any hesitation, they quickly picked the law fruits, one each of the space law fruit and 5 elements attribute law fruits. Since transplanting the law trees was no longer an option, Song Kai was anything but courteous. He directly picked nearly half of the law fruits. After the harvest, under Song Chi's orders, all the Void Assassin clan soldier figurines quickly merged into the void gaps, planning to return to Kang Chong. However, these actions obviously triggered a joint countermeasure from everyone else present. With just 17 law fruits to begin with, one person taking away 7 was intolerable to them. For a moment, several cruisers in the sky took action simultaneously, activating one special component after another. Subsequently, Song Kai felt all the Void Assassin clan soldier figurines in the Void subject to severe spatial expulsion, and they began to appear one by one from the cracks in the Void. Then, dozens of Void Assassin clan soldier figurines were assaulted by the combined attack of hundreds of all kinds of soldier figurines. Even as pseudo-5th rank, the Void Assassin clan soldier figurines quickly suffered losses under the combined siege of so many figurines. In just a minute's time, nearly 10 were killed, and of the 7 law fruits, only 5 remained. Seeing this, Song Kai made a decisive decision, throwing 2 of the remaining 5 law fruits, including 1 space law fruit. Consequently, a large number of the pursuing soldier figurines fell into the fray for these 2 law fruits. Taking advantage of this, Song Kai summoned the Void Demon, which had been hiding in the void nearby. As a true 4th rank unit with space law enhancement, the Void Demon hadn't been affected by the spatial expulsion forces and had remained hidden until now. Swish, swish, swish. Under the slicing of several space law blades, the soldier figurines continuing the pursuit were instantly dealt with, and this sudden turn of events caused the mass of figurines to finally stop their pursuit, watching as the remaining Void Assassin clan soldier figurines returned to Kang Chong above. In the Kang Chong main control room, Song Chi's face was thick with a satisfied smile. Although he only obtained 3 law fruits this round, it included 1 space law fruit, and 1 each of the gold and earth attributive law fruits, making the harvest quite substantial. However, after a brief moment of joy, Song Kai, who had already noticed something was amiss in the atmosphere, immediately made his decision. The engines of Kang Chong roared. The next second, the warship soared into the sky, heading deep into the vault of heaven, clearly preparing to completely end this secret realm exploration. While the members of the Li family, who had long known Song Chi's identity, felt somewhat moved, they ultimately took no action, allowing Kang Chong to ascend rapidly. However, the personnel of the Howl family clan did not let the matter rest. 2 veteran cruisers rose into the sky in pursuit of Kang Chong above. Watching the 2 cruisers chase after him, Song Chi's eyes grew cold as the never-much-used Pure Yang sword beam cannon began to charge quickly. Seconds later, accompanied by the burst of blinding light beams, an onslaught of sword-light phantasms furiously struck the energy shield of a cruiser below. Hit by this burst of sword-light phantasm, the fiercely determined captain of the Howl family clan cruiser's face changed dramatically as his enhanced to LV-49 purple energy shield lost more than 60% of its shield value in that one blow. As an experienced cruiser captain, he knew what this meant. An orange main cannon, enhanced to at least the 4th rank limit. The reason for this speculation was because the charging of Kang Chong's main cannon had lasted only a few seconds, indicating that the previous strike was not some kind of attack feature, but a regular attack from the main cannon. To achieve such might with a regular attack, it naturally couldn't be achieved by a main cannon of the same rank in purple, and not even by a common 4th rank orange main cannon. It had to be enhanced to 5th rank. Upon speculating this, the senior cruiser captain from the Howl family clan suddenly lost the courage to continue the pursuit, and the speed of the warship noticeably slowed down. On the side, another cruiser quickly spoke up and asked upon seeing this. After hearing this speculation, the cruiser captain wrestled with the decision for a moment before also choosing to give up the chase. Seeing the 2 cruisers unhesitatingly turning around to continue pursuing the remaining 14 law fruits, Song Kai was somewhat surprised. Of course, he was more pleased. Overall, his haul from this secret realm expedition was quite impressive. 2 space law fruits, a metal attribute law fruit, an earth attribute law fruit, plus a spatial law tree and a light attribute law tree, when tallied up, definitely amounted to a bountiful harvest. Moreover, he hadn't exposed too much of his own strength, at most just an orange main cannon, a 4th rank enslaved creature, and a soldier figurine component enhanced to the 5th rank level. Compared to the various hidden strengths of the Kang Chong like today, These three could be said to be the most ordinary components on the warship. Even if seen by members of both families, it wouldn't be a big deal. The warship sped along, and the Kang Chong soon returned to where the two Zhulu warships were suspended. Song Kai naturally had no intention of speaking up, but the Zhulu warship belonging to the Howell family clan, the Platinum Oak ship, clearly didn't plan to let him off so easily. In the group chat of the three warships, a fourth-rank torch ship captain from the Howell family clan repeatedly shifted the topic to Song Kai. Li Changming, 2 law trees, and one of them a spatial law tree, isn't your Li family afraid of bursting? From within the Divine Wind Changming ship, Li Changming let out a cold laugh, but did not retort at all. Seeing this, the fourth-rank torch ship captain from the Howell family clan shifted his gaze and sternly reprimanded Song Kai. You little brat, if you know what's good for you, hand over those 2 law trees and those 2 space law fruits while you're at it. Some things are not for you to covet, even with your family backing you. Before he could finish speaking, a rattling roar of a dragon whale sounded through the black starry sky outside of the floating land. Immediately afterward, Song Chi's resolute reply came through the group chat. Lord Howell, I'm well aware that you have significant influence in the Golden Wind Star domain, but whether my clan and I are entitled to those 2 law trees is not for you to decide. In that instant, the contending warship captain from the Howell family clan's expression darkened to the extreme. Facing the defiant response from the small cruiser captain, Song Kai, he found himself unable to forcefully rebut. He knew all too well the influence of the Dingai Song family, and to make matters worse, that family was extremely protective. If he truly angered them, the whole Howell family clan would suffer. This amusing scene delighted another person in the group chat, the joy in their eyes impossible to conceal. Li Changming, well done. The contending warship captain from the Howell family clan swept a cold glance over Li Changming, then turned back to Song Kai. Young man, being easily bewitched to meddle in the conflicts of other powers is not a good habit. Once you come across a tough opponent, even the name of the Dingai Song family might not always work. After speaking, he actively cut off the communication, unwilling to engage any further. Naturally, Song Kai did not try to overstep. After all, the other party was a 4th-rank torch ship captain. Provoking him further would be bad for both parties. In the communication channel, Li Changming once again nodded warmly towards Song Kai, and after Song Kai responded, the two then broke off communication. As for the Li family, Song Chi's impression wasn't much better. After all, they were just using him. Time passed, and the exploration of the floating land's secret realm continued for another 2 days, until all the mature law fruits in the secret realm had been allocated, officially bringing an end to this exploration. As for the final outcome, apart from Song Kai, the third party, the Howell family clan acquired a total of 17 law fruits, including 3 space law fruits. The Li family gleaned 14 law fruits, which also included 3 space law fruits. Regarding the subsequent allocation of this secret realm, that was beyond what Song Kai could know. Perhaps the Li family and the Howell family clan would still need to go through several rounds of negotiations. At the entrance to the secret realm, close to 40 torch warships burst out in succession, but in the instant they emerged from the entrance, every member of the Divine Wind Li clan changed their expressions. In the few days of exploration, quite a few more warships from both families had unexpectedly arrived outside of the secret realm, including the second Zhulu warship from the Howell family clan. Looking at the Li family's side, there was only one cruiser with a 4th rank level, Zephyr Bird, supporting it. Just from this detail, it was clear that the Howell family clan held the absolute upper hand. If members of the Howell family clan chose to act at this moment, the entire Divine Wind Li clan would likely suffer heavy losses. And indeed, the personnel from the Howell family clan were itching to make a move. In the private communication channel belonging to the Howell family clan's 2 Zhulu warships, the discussion was ongoing. Big brother, should we just take action? Li Changming alone can hardly stop the 2 of us, and the threat from that Zephyr Bird is limited. Big brother, why don't you say something? This is a good opportunity. We could definitely make the Lee family hurt. Alright, it's not that I don't want to take action, but don't you understand? There are people from the Dingai Song family opposite us. Why not? The Dingai Song family. Haven't they always been guarding the Dingai Star domain? Why suddenly, damn it? In the midst of the Divine Wind Lee clan's team, Song Kai felt a sense of nervousness in his heart, as he was even prepared to enter the Zutian Ruins market at any moment. Seeing the Howl family clan's posture, it was obvious they were ready for a fight, and he truly feared they might act recklessly. After all, the identity he had revealed so far was merely that of an ordinary third-rank cruiser captain of the Song family, and it was uncertain whether the other party would have any reservations due to this. Fortunately, after a standoff that lasted quite a while, both parties eventually went their separate ways. As for the lost secret realm, Song Kai did not know what measures the two clans had ultimately left behind. In any case, they did not leave any clan members to stand guard. Several hours later, after following the Lee family's fleet for a distance, Song Kai surmised that they should be far enough away from the people of the Howl family clan, so he directly spoke up and bid farewell to the members of the Lee family. The members of the Lee family even invited him to visit their residence on the Divine Wind continent, but Song Kai naturally refused outright. Not to mention that he still had to rush to the duchy capital Star domain. Even without this mission, he would not throw himself onto a powder keg. The situation between the Divine Wind Lee clan and the Howl family clan was like a huge powder keg. A slight misstep could trigger a complete explosion. Only a fool would continue to approach. After breaking away from the Lee family's fleet, Song Kai found a suitable region of space and directly activated the Purple River translocation device. When the translocation ended, he still did not enter the Ruins Market secret realm. Instead, he had the Kang Chong stop in a hidden location before taking out a Space Law Fruit from his storage capsule. It was widely known that the Space Law Fruit could dramatically boost a being's spatial law comprehension degree. If used directly in the Starry Sea, the surge in spatial law comprehension would naturally be from the Starry Sea Law, which would not only enhance the spatial law comprehension degree but also accelerate the assimilation of the Starry Sea Law with the law he had comprehended. For Song Kai, this was killing two birds with one stone, which is why he was so eager to use the Space Law Fruit. 10 odd days later, the Kang Chong, after warp jumping all the way, successfully arrived at a large spatial Stargate transfer station in the southern part of the Golden Wind Star domain. The Space Law Fruit had been completely absorbed by him 12 days before. With the aid of this Law Fruit, he made a significant advancement in the field of spatial law. Moreover, because of the effects of this Space Law Fruit, what originally would have required at least 30 years of assimilation with the Starry Sea Law was now reduced by 10 years. This means that he now needed only 20 more years before he could re-enter the Dragon Spine's secret realm to comprehend laws and secret techniques. However, there was one regrettable aspect. All the Law Fruit and Law Trees obtained from that secret realm were of the lowest rank. They were only effective for beings whose law comprehension degree was below 10%, and each fruit could only increase the law comprehension degree by 0.1%. Moreover, if the same type of Law Fruit was used again, its effects would diminish gradually, although not as quickly as the Divine Tempering Fruit. With closed eyes, the space law around Song Kai was faintly visible as he felt the power of laws within himself. Soon, he reopened his eyes. With the boost from the Space Law Fruit, his spatial law comprehension degree had now reached 0.27%. With such a level of spatial law, whether it was condensing the Law Dragon Whale or the Ruins Vanishing Edge, the might was far superior to before. Dispersing these thoughts from his mind, Song Kai controlled the Kang Chong to slowly fly into the Space Stargate transfer station ahead. After queuing for some time, he successfully purchased a ticket for the journey that would take place 7 days later. At this, Song Kai sighed with relief, while also feeling a thread of anticipation welling up within him. In 7 days, he would finally arrive at the duchy capital's Golden Dragon Star domain, a place he had heard about countless times, yet had never had the chance to personally visit. During the wait for transmission, a small incident occurred. Someone who was clearly next in line for transmission was suddenly postponed by a round or even several rounds, a situation that naturally sparked considerable dissatisfaction among those affected. Why? I'm clearly next. Why am I suddenly scheduled for 3 days later? Exactly, our squad's transmission was set for tomorrow, but now it's inexplicably moved to the day after tomorrow. How could the Eagle family not give an explanation? Our urgent matters are delayed, yet there's no sign of you offering any compensation. The sudden commotion instantly turned the already congested transfer station into chaos, even showing signs of losing control. But before anyone from the Eagle family could come out to maintain order, a Zulu warship over 3,500 meters long was suddenly summoned, transforming from its mini-state into a massive vessel in an instant. You want an explanation? How's this for an explanation? My Zhao clan from the Golden Dragon Star domain urgently requires this route. Is that explanation enough? The sudden appearance of the Zulu warship and the swiftly condensing frosty white giant dragon shadow around its hull caused the previously boisterous torch ship captains to turn pale, and the chaotic transfer station fell into a sudden hush. No one doubted the identity of the Zulu warship because the frost giant dragon is the most signature secret technique of the Golden Dragon Zhao clan, much like the dragon whale state of the Dingai Song family. The Zhao clan named this technique the frost dragon form. In a corner aside, the Kang Chong, unaffected by the disturbance, hung silently as an onlooker, quietly observing everything. Song Chi's thoughts quickened, recalling all the information he knew about the Golden Dragon Zhao family. Like the Bai family, from which his grandmother Bai Shuken hailed, the Zhao family is also a clan that has inherited over 3,000 years of history in the capital star domain, even longer than the Dingai Song family behind him. However, unlike the declining Bai family, the power of the Zhao family was substantially greater. Though they were not one of the few superpower forces of the duchy, they were considered top tier among those just beneath the giants. With a 5th-ranked battleship captain as their backbone and more than a handful of 4th-ranked contender captains, the Golden Dragon Zhao clan alone occupies a level 4 life floating land within the Golden Dragon Star domain. Their domain might be less than 300 light-years in control, but they are said to hold vast territories within the alien star domain. It was precisely because the Golden Dragon Zhao family was such a behemoth that the previously clamoring torch ship captains didn't dare to retort any further. A 5th-ranked battleship captain, even if they could not personally take action due to the official suppression by Torchlight Humanity, their double-digit 4th-ranked contender warships could easily turn 1 or 2 lone contender warships into ash. As mentioned, this was but a minor episode that did not affect Song Chi's journey. A week later, he successfully passed through the transmission gate and left the Golden Wind Star domain. As the Duchy capital star domain, and also the earliest established star domain, the Golden Dragon Star domain was almost as old as the Duchy itself. Meanwhile, it was also the largest star domain of Chengxing Principality, without a rival. The Golden Dragon Star domain stretched over 10,000 light-years, with one part of it nearly equal to the total combination of several Duchy star domains. Of course, such an immense star domain naturally wasn't the sole dominion of the imperial family, the Chengxing clan. Other families of various sizes, like the Golden Dragon Zhao and Bai families, also had their territories here. But on the whole, the Chengxing clan occupied over half of the Golden Dragon Star domain territory, which was much larger compared to the Dingai Star domain. If one were to further consider the Chengxing clan's more than 5,000 years of heritage, one could imagine the depth of foundation amassed by this family over such a long span of time. The transmission from the Golden Wind Star domain was pushing the limits of mid-distance transfer, moving people directly to the Crescent Star region of the Golden Dragon Star domain, a transfer distance of over 5,000 light-years. As a result, Song Kai and the others had now reached the nearly central region of the Golden Dragon Star domain, the Crescent Star region. As a drop point for several Duchy-managed star domain transfers, it was less than 1,000 light-years away from the Duchy's Chengxing floating land, and with full-speed travel, it would only take a few days to reach the famed Chengxing floating land of the entire principality. Song Kai didn't delay further, controlling the Kang Chong to shoot out of the transfer station directly. However, to his surprise, the Zhao clan's fleet seemed to be on the same path, heading straight for the Chengxing floating land. Isn't the ancestral land of the Golden Dragon Zhao clan in Heavenly Frost floating land? They should be heading left, why would they be going? Muttering to himself, Song Kai quickly gathered his thoughts and stopped wondering. He redirected the Kang Chong slightly off course to maximize the distance from the Zhao clan's fleet. The people from the Golden Dragon Zhao clan were no pushovers, accustomed to throwing their weight around. They had few scruples. Should he come into their line of sight, it would, no doubt, lead to trouble. After creating a sufficient distance, Song Kai initiated a spatial jump, and, once the jump concluded, he took out the second space law fruit, feeling tempted to use it immediately. After some thought, he decided against it. The reason was simple. His previous enhancement of the space law had been a significant leap just a few days ago. To do so again now would be unnatural, like forcing the grow of a seedling. At the very least, he needed to fully familiarize himself and stabilize the current 0.27% law comprehension degree. Although the previous space law fruit only raised law comprehension degree by 0.1%, that number was impressively significant. Let's not forget that even with a mid-tier law crystal in hand, as well as the amplification of the primordial secret realm's origin law manifestation, 5 years had yielded only that much progress. Currently, without any actively manifested origin laws, the law crystals in his hand had become low-level. Song Kai estimated that at this point, to normally enhance his comprehension by 0.1%, he would need at least 30 years to start. That is to say, the previous space law fruit had saved Song Kai an entire 30 years of time. However, it also meant that what originally required 30 years to gradually improve in law comprehension was condensed into a matter of a few days because of a single law fruit. Under such circumstances, one could imagine the mental pressure Song Kai had to endure. In a few more months, wait until my spirit has completely adapted, then it wouldn't be too late to consume the second space law fruit. Storing away the space law fruit, Song Chi's gaze shifted, converging on the cultivation secret realm within. At present, the cultivation secret realm was still in a year-long cooldown period and was not undergoing acceleration. It wasn't that he had forgotten about the Zen meditation seal inner speed feature, which could directly reduce the secret realm accelerator feature's buffer time to 2.4 months, saving a considerable amount of time. How could he forget such an important matter? The reason he had not actively used it was because the cooldown time for the Zen meditation seal inner speed feature itself was fixed at 10 days. Additionally, Song Kai had been traveling for the past few months and might encounter danger at any moment. Keeping the Zen meditation seal inner speed feature ready for use at all times was to avoid insufficient response time in the event of an actual crisis. Because of this, even if the secret realm accelerator ended halfway, he did not rush to buffer and accelerate it. However, once he arrived at that Chengxing floating land, there would be no need for further concern. As the imperial capital's floating land of the principality, at least within some of the large cities inside the floating land, there was still enough order ensured. Looking at the several plants within the secret realm, Song Kai retracted his attention. This time, he did not actively use the low-level space law crystals to comprehend the laws but was visualizing the mythical mech projection imprint blueprint. Although he had now reached the state of divine consciousness spirit, the effect of the dragon spine tyrant whale mech conceptualization chart seemed not to decline but rather to feel more vividly lifelike. The visualization seemed to increase, rather than decrease, the enhancement of his spiritual force. About this, Song Kai had his speculations early on. It's highly probable that his previous ordinary thought state spirit was not capable of perceiving the true profundity of the conceptualization chart. Only upon reaching the divine thought state could he further bear the true effect of this visualization chart. In the quiet expanse of space, a 1,300-meter-long cruiser streaked across the stars. In fact, it wasn't just the Kang Chong. Within tens of thousands of miles around, one could see the figures of hundreds of Torch warships. Not all of these Torch warships were heading in the same direction. Instead, they were shuttling back and forth, establishing a busy interstellar route with their comings and goings. Torch Network, Chengxing Floating Land Local Area Network. Public Channel, Jiba Number. To think we can't directly warp to the floating land's vault of heaven but must travel at full speed for 3 days to enter Chengxing Floating Land. Quite bothersome indeed. Why is there such a regulation? He Shi Number. First time in the imperial capital. The Chengxing Floating Land. As our principality's imperial capital floating land, do you have any idea how many Torch ship captains from the principality are gathered on the floating land? If there were an invasion by a civilization, and others were to teleport directly above the floating land, wouldn't they be able to wipe out the entire floating land in one fell swoop? Jiba Number. The likelihood of that is minuscule though, right? Shi Jia Number. Bullshit. Because the chance is small, we shouldn't prepare. We're on the frontier of the nation, less than 20,000 light-years away from the chaotic star field. If something really happens, are you going to take responsibility? Song Chi's gaze swept over the public channel briefly, without lingering for long, and he quickly turned to the Torch Bureau's regional network, entering the Torch market. The Kang Chong had shuttled for several days, and Song Kai was well aware of the principality's upper echelons forbidding direct teleportation to Chengxing Floating Land, naturally not minding it. In fact, even in the Dragon Spine continent, foreign warships were unable to teleport directly to the floating land's vault of heaven, with only the flagship of their own descendants disregarding this rule. Once Song Kai opened the Torch market in the Chengxing Floating Land Local Area Network, he felt somewhat overwhelmed. Indeed, overwhelmed, as the items in the market were so numerous that he even started to question his own eyesight. After a brief moment of astonishment, Song Kai came back to his senses and felt this was to be expected. What is the Chengxing Floating Land? It's the imperial capital of the principality, where the majority of Torch ship captains in the entire Chengxing Principality converge. On this floating land, the number of gathered Torch ship captains is nothing less than 1 million. So, given this number, the vast market and the staggering number of products on offer is only to be expected. After recollecting his spiritual force, Song Kai began to roam the marketplace brimming with innumerable goods. He first toured around those few shops that were always at the top, doing particularly lively business. Red Epic Quality Energy Shield Components, Red Epic Quality Super Main Cannons, Red Epic Quality Warship Armor. After a quick look through several large shops, Song Kai frowned soon. Although the Blaze market had a terrifying quantity of products, there weren't many good items. Even among the top shops in the market, the best items were only the red components, and those were just the most common types including energy shields, main cannons, and warship armor. There was no sight of orbiting radars, engines, etc. Of course, that was only in relative terms for the Kang Chong. In fact, for other Torch warships, even those Zhulu warships operated by Lone Rangers, the red quality components were seen as the ceiling for such parts. Soon, Song Kai noticed a familiar shop, Dragon Spine Shops. Is this our own shop? As one of the busiest shops in the Blaze market, Dragon Spine Shops also had an astounding traffic of people and its range of goods was just as extensive. Song Kai inspected it carefully and soon had a rough understanding. In addition to a few red components similar to those displayed in the other large shops, there were also a variety of resources unique to the Song family. For instance, first and second rank soul cores, enslaved thorned flying dragons of ranks 1 to 3 after mutilation, ordinary living vampires, and so on. After reviewing the offerings, Song Kai closed the Blaze market and left the local network of the Chengxing Floating Land. There were simply too many items in the marketplace, dazzling to the eyes. Moreover, having just contemplated the mythical mech projection imprint blueprint not long ago, Song Kai decided he would wait until his spirit had recovered before slowly searching, looking for some special resources or components he needed in the marketplace. Speeding along, Kang Chong finally exited its cruising state at a certain moment, and ahead in the field of vision, a starry sea floating land of unfathomable dimensions lay stretched across the silent starry sea. From afar, the densely packed torch warships, resembling moths, ceaselessly ascended and descended upon this colossal starry sea floating land. Among them were cruisers a kilometer long, and even Zhulu warships seldom seen in outside star domains. But still, this wasn't the most shocking sight. What unsettled Song Chi's heart was that, a few light years behind this vast floating land, lay another starry sea floating land that was even larger. These two floating lands were parallel to each other, like two mirrored floating lands. Is this the Chengxing twin floating land? It truly is one of the rarest masterpieces in the shattered starry sea. Before arriving in this capital star domain, Song Kai had already done his homework. He knew that the imperial capital floating land of the Chengxing Principality was a very rare type of twin floating land. Yet, even with mental preparation, the sight before him still made it hard for him to stay composed. As the name suggests, twin floating lands are composed of two star sea floating lands arranged in parallel. This creates a stable floating land equilibrium, preventing the two from colliding or merging due to their proximity. It is said that when the citizens of the principality speak of the Chengxing floating land, they refer to the smaller one on top, a grade 5 starry sea floating land. The true Chengxing floating land is the one below, a grade 5 peak lifeform starry sea floating land, completely controlled by the Chengxing clan.